You already know George Clooney is one of the coolest men alive, but did you know his watch collection is just as cool as he is? Today, we'll be counting down 10 watches in his collection, and trust me, number 1 is going to make you do a double take. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the Hamilton. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, hear me out. Not every watch in a great collection has to come from the big leagues. This is the watch George Clooney wore as Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11, one of the most iconic movie characters of the 2000s, and the Hamilton fit that character perfectly. It's a vintage American-style automatic watch that's been unfortunately discontinued. However, you can still find it on the secondary market for under $1,000 depending on the condition. For a watch with that kind of cinematic history, that's a steal. It's the most affordable watch on this list, but it might just be the one with the most character. Alright, moving up the price ladder. But don't go anywhere because things start getting a lot more serious from here. Landing at number 9 is the Omega Speedmaster Aqua Terra. The Seamaster Aqua Terra is the watch Clooney reaches for when he wants something versatile enough to wear. Think of it as the Swiss Army knife of his collection. He wore a blue dial version in the 2022 romantic comedy Ticket to Paradise. He was also spotted wearing it on a yacht in Venice in late 2023, looking impossibly relaxed in a suede polo. And most recently, he wore the gorgeous turquoise dial version on the red carpet at the 2026 Golden Globes. Why wouldn't he? The Aqua Terra is built around a beautifully sun-brushed dial that's inspired by the teak decks of luxury sailboats. It's water-resistant and elegant enough for a tuxedo. It's also perfectly suited to a man who splits his time between Lake Como and film sets around the world. This reference retails for approximately $6,300 to $7,400 depending on the dial and bracelet option. It is, objectively, one of the best watches in the world at its price point. But the next watch takes everything the Aqua Terra does and wraps it in something a lot warmer. Omega Ville Our Vision. This is Clooney's ultimate executive timepiece. In the 2009 film Up in the Air, he plays Ryan Bingham, and the DeVille Our Vision was the perfect co-star. It's an architectural masterpiece in dress watch form. You'd find a skeleton-style dial revealing the coaxial movement ticking away. In fact, this dial is housed in a beautifully proportioned case that sits elegantly on the wrist without ever demanding attention. He loved it so much that he wore it again at the 70th Venice Film Festival for the premiere of Gravity. Same watch, different stage, and effortless class. Depending on the reference and material, the DeVille Our Vision retails between $6,000 to $18,900. Let's just say it's a watch that rewards the people who look closely, which is exactly Clooney's style. Now, if the Our Vision is his boardroom watch, the next one is his movie set workhorse. Coming in strong at number 7 is the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. Clooney has worn the Moonwatch on screen not once, but twice. In the 2010 thriller The American, he wore it on a black leather strap throughout the film. Then came 2013's Gravity, one of the most technically impressive films ever made. For that role, Clooney wore a Speedmaster with its bezel removed and sewn directly into his spacesuit. This was a direct nod to how NASA astronauts actually wore their Speedmasters during the Apollo era. The Moonwatch Professional is, of course, the watch that went to the moon with Buzz Aldrin in 1969. It's been NASA certified and has been on 6 lunar landings. Actually, you can own one right now if you have between $7,300 and $8,400. Apparently, Clooney's version of a film prop is most people's version of a Grail watch. Now, the moon landing watch is already incredible, but coming up next, we've got a deep-sea beast that goes where very few dare to follow. Diving into number 6 is the Omega Speedmaster Planet Ocean. Most men wouldn't dream of wearing a big dive watch to a black tie gala. George Clooney isn't most men. He famously strapped on the Planet Ocean to the 2018 UNCA Awards Gala. Like, our guy literally slided the substantial tool watch right under his tuxedo sleeve and made it look like the most natural thing in the world. Honestly, it worked. Now, let's run a little feature check on the Planet Ocean, shall we? This watch is water resistant to 600 meters, and that's about 1,969 feet. For context, a standard diving watch goes to 200 or 300 meters. This one nearly triples that. It has a helium escape valve for saturation diving, and the master chronometer caliber 8,900, which happens to be one of the most certified movements in the world. Interestingly, George Clooney even auctioned off a Planet Ocean gifted to him by Omega in 2013 to raise money for charity. He turned a $6,000 watch into a charitable act. That alone tells you what this piece means in the wider story of his collection. Now, a number 5 is a watch that goes all the way back to 1957 and still looks like the future. Meanwhile, if you're loving this watch tour, tap that like button and subscribe. Now, back to the countdown. Holding down number 5 is the Omega Speedmaster Speedmaster 57. The Speedmaster 57 is a love letter to the very first Speedmaster ever made, and Clooney is the official face of this collection. Omega photographed him near his home in the Lake Como region for the official campaign. The watch is a tribute to the very first Speedmaster released in 1957 for racing drivers. It started the whole Speedmaster story before NASA, the Moon, and the Legends. It's the origin story in a watch form. Clooney, a man who has starred in historical movies and clearly appreciates things with roots, fits this watch perfectly. Off camera, Clooney wears it casually and at various European film festivals. For a man with his resources, this is his jeans and white shirt watch, and it looks incredible on him. The Speedmaster 57 retails for approximately $8,300 to $8,600. It's a watch that proves you don't need to spend a fortune to look like $1 million. You just need to know which watch to choose. Now the next one, however, is all about celebrating history. At number 4, we have the Omega Speedmaster Apollo 11. In 2019, the world celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. Clooney, as Omega's most prominent ambassador, was at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida for the occasion, and on his wrist was this stunning two-tone Speedmaster. It combined a stainless steel case with accents in Omega's proprietary Moonshine gold. This watch is packed with commemorative details. It has a unique 11 marker in Moonshine gold and an image of Buzz Aldrin descending the lunar ladder engraved into the 9 o'clock subdial. Limited to just 6,969 pieces, it retailed for approximately $9,000. Today, on the secondary market, it trades for around $11,500 or more. To wear this watch at the very place where men were launched to the moon is something that words can barely do justice to. That's already an incredible piece, but wait until you hear about the all-gold version at number 3, the Omega Speedmaster Apollo 11. While the steel version was a special watch, this one is a rare artifact. Originally released at $34,600, it was limited to only 1,014 pieces. Today, this watch changes hands for around $43,000 or more on the secondary market. Clooney debuted this breathtaking piece at a NASA-themed Golden Moments dinner at Cape Canaveral. He took a picture with this watch beneath a Saturn V rocket alongside legendary astronauts. Let that image sink in for a moment. The entire watch case, dial, bracelet and buckle is made from 18-karat Moonshine gold. It's the kind of watch you wear for an occasion that only comes around once in history. Now, on anyone else's wrist, it might seem like too much. On Clooney's, it was simply perfect. But the next watch is the most personal piece in his entire collection. Taking the runner-up position is the Omega Ville Trésor. On September 27, 2014, George Clooney married human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin in Venice, Italy. And on his wrist for the ceremony was this watch, a slim manual wind dress watch in 18-karat white gold that is about as far from a loud statement piece as you can get. That's entirely the point. The Ville Trésor is Omega's most refined expression of the dress watch genre. It's paper thin, hand wound, classically proportioned, and deeply elegant. There's no chronograph or complications, just pure, beautiful mechanical time. To choose this watch for your wedding day says everything about the kind of man Clooney is. The watch doesn't shout, but speaks quietly and with complete confidence. Currently, you can get the Ville Trésor for approximately $15,000 to $20,000 depending on the specific reference. And now finally, the watch that sits at the very top of this collection, the Omega Speedmaster in 18-karat yellow gold. In 2016, George Clooney played a flashy TV financial host in the film Money Monster, directed by Jodie Foster. And in that role, the costume wasn't enough. The character needed a watch that screamed wealth. So Clooney wore an 18-karat yellow gold Omega Speedmaster watch. This is a fully gold chronograph with a gold case, bracelet and black dial. At the time of the film, this watch retailed for around $22,500. Today, on the secondary market, models from that era fetch $30,000 or more. The Money Monster Speedmaster is, without question, the crown jewel of George Clooney's watch collection. A full gold Moonwatch worn by a man who could have worn anything but chose the watch that meant something. So, if you could pick just one watch from this list, which one would it be? Drop your answer in the comments down below. And if you want to see which other Hollywood legends have watch collections just as wild as this one, our next video is waiting for you. See you there.